How's it going, guys? So we have this 36-year-old dude with all of these cardiopulm findings here. Okay, it can seem very confusing when you're looking at this question. What's the most likely explanation for the findings? Choice A, chronic pressure overload right ventricle, wrong fucking answer. This could refer to pulmonic stenosis, which pretty much doesn't exist in USMLE apart from within the constellation of tetralogy of Fallot and pediatrics, and could be anything originating in the lungs, primary pulmonary hypertension, anything cor pulmonale backing up to the right heart, cystic fibrosis, COPD, pulmonary fibrosis, could be left heart, mitral stenosis, let's say, history of rheumatic heart disease as a kid, backs up to the lungs, backs up to the right heart. So chronic pressure overload on the right ventricle, you need to know the two findings you're going to see cardiopulm-wise. Number one, tricuspid regurgitation. Sounds weird, I know, not pulmonic regurg. Tricuspid regurg, holosystolic murmur that increases with inspiration. They can also tell you a loud P2. Okay, both of those findings, tricuspid regurg and loud P2, mean pulmonary hypertension. I've made lots of clips on that stuff, talked about it in my PDFs. Choice A, wrong fucking answer. Choice B, chronic volume overload right ventricle, correct answer. So we've got an ASD here. We have fixed splitting of S2. So 100% of the time on NBME, USMLE, fixed splitting of S2 means atrial septal defect. And wide splitting of S2 just means right ventricular hypertrophy. So this means the widely split fixed S2 just means we have right ventricular hypertrophy due to chronic volume overload, secondary to an ASD. Okay, so you got blood going high pressure, low pressure, left to right across the ASD. The right heart and the lungs have to accommodate that. So you're ultimately going to get pulmonary hypertension. That's why we get increased pulmonary vascularity. We've got right ventricular hypertrophy here. So right bundle branch block just means right ventricular hypertrophy. That's all it means. I ask students, what does wide splitting of S2 mean? They start giving me a very mechanistic answer about A2 and P2. No one fucking cares, okay? If we say right bundle branch block, wide splitting of S2, right axis deviation on ECG, those three findings simply mean right ventricular hypertrophy. If we say left bundle branch block, paradoxical splitting of S2, left axis deviation on ECG, those three findings mean left ventricular hypertrophy. So you say, well, why is there a systolic ejection murmur? This is just a flow murmur, high volume across the pulmonic valve. I wrote at the apex on purpose to be an obfuscating asshole. USMLE will do this. No, they're not going to say the location is at the second intercostal space left sternal border for a pulmonic flow murmur. They don't have to do that, okay? They'll just say there's an early systolic murmur. That can mean flow murmur. They'll just say there's an ejection murmur. So this is just high flow from the ASD, okay? So chronic volume overload, this is what we have here. So let's just hop through the other answer choices. Choice C, paradoxical pulse, right ventricular decompensation, wrong fucking answer. So I've seen USMLE write pulse as paradoxis as paradoxical pulse. This will somehow confuse like 8% of students. Pulse paradoxis, drop in systolic blood pressure greater than 10 millimeters of mercury with inspiration. 19 out of 20 times it will refer to cardiac tamponade. Okay, tamponade means pericardial effusion plus low blood pressure. That's what a tamponade is. So tamponade questions will present as Beck triad, hypotension, JVD, muffled/distant heart sounds, and then maybe a third of the questions they'll mention pulsus paradoxis. Paradoxical pulse, wrong fucking answer. Choice D, primary pulmonary hypertension, wrong fucking answer. This will be generally a woman, 20s to 30s, who is a non-smoker, who has a loud P2 or tricuspid regurg, increased pulmonary vascularity. It's a BMPR2 mutation, okay, that leads to smooth muscle hypertrophy within the pulmonary vasculature. Okay, so clearly we've got a fixed splitting of S2 here, so we know we have an ASD. So instantaneously, this is a wrong fucking answer. Choice D, wrong fucking answer. Choice C, actually real quick, you just should know endothelin 1 expression is increased in pulmonary hypertension, not limited to primary pulmonary hypertension, but it's a high yield point regarding these questions in particular. And then of course, bosentan is a high yield drug, endothelin 1 receptor antagonist. As I already said, wrong fucking answer. Choice C, reversal is shown, wrong fucking answer. So this could refer to Eisenmenger syndrome when you have a ventricular septal defect, where the initial left to right shunt will eventually lead to pulmonary hypertension due to the high flow Similar to what we have here through the lungs. High flow eventually reverses right ventricular hypertrophy, where that right ventricular pressure can push the shunt back to the left side. The patient would appear hypoxic. So not only do we not have a hypoxic patient here, which means we don't have a right to left shunt, but we also have the fixed splitting of S2, which tells us we have an ASD. I've never seen an NBME question for steps 1 and 2 combined where there's ever this notion of a reversal across an ASD. I haven't seen it. Maybe we could Google it, and there's cases in the literature, but for USMLE, when they talk about a theoretical / hypothetical reversal of a shunt right to left in the heart, they're talking about a VSD. Choice E, wrong fucking answer. You know the deal, and team, make more content, like stuff. Very much appreciate your time. That's it.